now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
Welcome back to Raw Minds. I'm your host, Eric, and today's episode is uncomfortable. It is not polite, and it's necessary. My guest is Matt Melvin, author of Bullied Behind Bars. This book is raw, it is detailed, and it's honest. Matt made one bad decision while working at a car dealership, one impulse choice. That choice sent him to prison. What followed nearly destroyed him. In Bullied Behind Bars, Matt lays out life inside the system as someone already marked gay, Christian, Trump supporter, later diagnosed with autism. Those facts made him a target. The book documents the bullying, the gang threats, the assault, the rape, the denial of mental health care. It shows what happens when the system stops seeing a human being and starts seeing a problem. This conversation goes beyond the pages. We talk fear, isolation, survival, and what it takes to walk out alive. If this hits you, don't keep it to yourself. Comment, like, share this episode, and follow Raw Minds. Someone out there may need to hear this story. This is Raw Minds, real stories, real filters, and no bullshit. And today, I want to introduce Matt. Thank you, Matt, for showing up, and welcome to Raw Minds.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm pleasure to be here.
Definitely, man. And I'm excited to have this conversation and dive in about, your story in your book. But before we do that, could you plug all your socials and everything that you want people to be able to find you?
I'm on Instagram, Bullied Behind Bars, Facebook, Matthew.Melvin.5621, X Bars Bullied. My website is bulliedbehindbars.com. You can email me, bulliedbehindbars@gmail.com.
And you'll be able to find all that also in the description below as well. So who is Matt? If you can tell us, who are you? Give us a little bit about your story and what became of how you got to Bullied Behind Bars.
I was born in Tingsboro, Massachusetts, found a really good friend that lived behind us. He became my best friend. He had a swimming pool. I love swimming. My parents decided to move up into Vermont in 1988. My father got a job at Franklin County Home Health, and it was the worst decision they could have made. Moving up into Vermont, being isolated, having a hard time meeting friends, maintaining relationships, meeting people has always been a struggle. And I've constantly been bullied throughout every school situation I've been in. And in 2004, I worked at a car dealership. They didn't pay me my commissions, so I impulsively made the decision to try to sell one of their cars, got caught. Instead of going through the mental health court like I should have gone through, Judge Jeffrey Crawford and Bob Wolford both decided I didn't meet the criteria, and I was forced into the traditional court system. Came out with a record after 18 months, couldn't find a job. So in 2009, I used other people's information to try to pass a background check. The government pursued me for 6 years, finally got a grand jury indictment against me in May of 2016, served another 18 months, went to 10 different institutions, was constantly bullied behind bars. The inmates would lie to the guards and tell them I tried to proposition them. Then they would put me in solitary confinement. And that's where I started writing my book. I started chronicling my journey through the criminal justice system. And that's where I really found God and started journaling, reading my Bible, praying, fasting, really doing the work that it takes to get the discipline I have today to be in the Word and to start serving others.
That's amazing, man. I mean, it's not amazing what you went through, but amazing, like our whole show is Pain from Power and, what you went through. And, I mean, you owned up what you did, right? Which is very, like, that's what we have to do. Own up our responsibilities, take action, and make a better person out of it. And so you have, man. So props to you. And you wrote a book too. That's probably out there helping someone that you don't even know. You know what I mean? So I just want to say props to you. So going to jail and dealing with all that must have been really, really hard on your mental health.
It was no more difficult the first time than it was the second time.
Yeah. And how did you cope through all that?
Journaling, writing down my thoughts, reading my Bible, praying. Well, the institution might have had my body, they didn't have my mind. I know a lot of people that aren't in a prison physically, but are in a prison in their mind, which I think is even worse.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So with this book, like, did you take it from your journaling and you kind of like add like what you started with your journaling, or did you kind of just jump into just writing this book
I took my hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pages of
experiences?
journal entry and
Yes.
condensed it to a
Yes.
version.
So if you can walk us through a little bit of this book, like the first part of it, if you can, just walk us through and yeah, like a little bit of your life actually at the same time, right? It is your life.
I talk about growing up in Tingsboro,
Hmm.
having a best friend behind me, and while simultaneously getting bullied by the guy next door on the bus.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting dichotomy of my life, is that on one hand, my best friend lives behind me and has a swimming pool, but on the other side is this bully who doesn't love himself. And let's just face it, anybody who bullies another person, it's because they don't love themselves and they're trying to feel better by making somebody else feel worse.
Hmm. Yeah.
All
Well,
the problem.
well, and that's what they say. You stand up to them, right? And then they usually back down after. Was that the case by any chance in or yours, or did you end up standing up to them?
Grew up, I wasn't of that frame of mind. I was overweight. I wasn't in a good place in my mind. And it wasn't until I had my near-death experience in August 2015, where I was almost killed by an out-of-control driver, that I stopped being dishonest, stealing, lying, and turned my life over to God. And that's where I really got my power back. I had
And what?
power back away to almost everybody throughout most of my life.
Hmm. And then through God, you found how to take it back. And was through that accident. Was it like a near death experience, like you said? Like were you like in?
Killed by an out of control driver, but
Oh
by the
wow.
God, I was saved, I was protected. And that was the moment I turned my life over to God and stopped putting God in the passenger seat and started allowing God to drive my life. And every time I make a decision without using God, it's always the wrong decision.
I feel it. You know, and I see, you know, like I on Raw Minds, there's three things that we don't really talk about. I mean, we talk about it, but not get into deep into it. And it's religion, politics, and anything with the LGBTQ, right? You know, that's we try to stay away from all that, right? And just be, you know, neutral with everything. But I see more and more now, you know, about God coming into a lot of people's lives, and I think it's very powerful, you know. And I'm gonna say this: I was never really a big believer of God, you know, for the longest time because of a lot of death and a lot of trauma that I've been through and seen and pain in the world. So I couldn't wrap my head around how can, you know, this God let these people suffer when like there's kids that are, you know. But it really woke me up to like I was one of my friends, really great friend, shout out to Nicky. He made it clear that it's not really his fault, right? You know, and it's not it's humankind at the end. We're born sinners at the start, you know what I mean? And I don't want to get too much into that religious stuff, but I mean I'm seeing it more and more and I would have to say for the first time in my life since being a kid, I went to church just before Christmas. And you know, it's kind of really opened up my eyes, man. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit and say, you know, like I'm on this journey, the beginning of this journey right now. And it's a pretty amazing journey. And you've walked this journey before. So I just want to say, yeah, so I'm in the middle of it right now. So I just want to say I'm excited to see where it takes me. So we'll see. We'll
He
see.
is a want and willingness to surrender to a higher power, to God. Without that willingness, nothing's going to change. I have
Yeah.
to say that my life is unmanageable without God. I need God in my life. And then I have to, just like when you go to the car dealership and get your car aligned, I have to get my life aligned with God's. It's not the other way around.
Hmm. And did
Well,
the book help you with that too, though? Did the book help you with that as well, in a sense too, like to bring you a little bit more closer to yourself, not just with God, but I mean with yourself as well? Like, did you like after finishing the book, did you read it back and be like, wow, like this is, you know, this kind of like changed you in a sense?
Oh, no question. It changed me
Yeah.
significantly. I think one big change is I was able to forgive everybody who wronged me.
Yeah. And how was that?
You don't forgive people, you're allowing them to live rent free in your head.
Yes, this is true. We talk about this all the time. You know, like me, I have a great relationship with my father. You know, I haven't talked to him in about 7 years, but me on myself, I forgave him for the wrongs he done. You know, it doesn't mean that I have to go and tell him I forgive him, but in my heart, I can forgive him. You
Well,
know,
doesn't mean you have to tell him that you forgive him.
well, I mean, it's a bit of a dangerous situation. It's not really I want to go up and talk to him.
Well, you can send him a letter, send him an email.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I've said it to my exes before, you know, like I apologize and I forgive you for anything. I guess I could say it to him. I mean, that'd be scary, I'll tell you. But I mean, it should happen, actually. This is a breakthrough moment for me. This is not even about you. It's about me right now. I appreciate that. Thank you. So tell me a little bit more about your book. Like, run us through some stuff, if you don't mind, of like some major points that happened to you that really was that light bulb moment to change that you talk about in your book.
The near-death experience on 495, that was one of the significance, getting raped in
Yeah.
prison, having the guards.
How was that? Like, I mean, like, and not just the rape, but I mean, like, how was that living in fear all the time, though? You know, in prison, that must have been really hard on your mental health, definitely.
Prison is a brutal experience.
Yeah,
There's really nothing that can prepare anyone to what goes on in a prison.
yeah, yeah. I can't imagine though. I mean, like, I've had guests on that have gone to prison, you know, and each guest has had a different experience. You know, I had a guest that just hated it, hated it, hated it. Another guest that he needed to be there. You know, he needed to be there. He needed to go through what he needed to go through, and he was grateful that he went there. You know, and he didn't really have. I know this is kind of weird to say, but he didn't have a hard time. You know what I mean? Then like he just went there, did his time, did whatever. You know, I mean, that's a hard time in itself. But I mean, he wasn't like, you know, he was left alone and just, you know, did his own thing. So, and then there's you where you're getting picked on, bullied, and that. I just can't imagine though, you know, waking up being stuck in this pod. I guess they're pods, right?
Yes.
Being stuck in this pod with people that you know have done wrong to you, and like even the guards, like you said, are not doing anything. No one was helping you. So the flight or fight, right? You're living in fight or flight the whole time. Like how did you like deal with that? Dealing with it, journaling, eh? Just putting.
Different pastors that would come in,
Okay.
go each of the Bible studies that was available.
And the system wasn't stepping in or doing anything. They just didn't care.
Oh, they don't care at all. No.
No. Wow. That's brutal. In your book, what's it like? Sorry, I lost track. I had a bunch of questions here. Oh my God. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It was about where you get the food and the money. That's it. Okay, that's the name. Sorry. So were people trying to take that from you too?
Totally, all the time.
Yeah. And that was the one thing that they try to control, right? If they take that's the money and the bread in there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more. Like, go in a little bit more of your story, please, if you can. Like about your book. Like, walk us through a couple of the chapters, if you can. Some important chapters to yourself.
At one of the facilities, the guards actually took me out of my cell, put me in the attorney-client room. They had their cameras on. They denied me my medication, and they wanted to know what my end game for writing all these grievances. The grievance is the complaint department to hold people accountable for their actions. I was held accountable for my actions through the court system, and I was going to hold these guards and inmates accountable for their actions.
So you should
lie and cheat and steal and say, oh, it never happened. Or we didn't know about it. He never said anything. That's what the typical mentality is. And anyways, they thought that by writing all these grievances, I would get out of jail for free, which doesn't happen. There's only 3 ways of getting out of jail.
You thought this?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, you thought this or they thought this, that you were going to get it? Okay. Go ahead, go on.
ways of getting out of jail: body bag, pardon, or your time is up. Those are the only 3 ways, period. There's nothing with how many grievances you write, how many complaints you write, how many letters people write to the jail about what a amazing person you are. That doesn't matter.
Well, let's take us back actually to the first day walking in.
Which facility? Which time? The first or the second time?
Your very first time walking in, the very first time. What was prison like for you? Like, what was going through your head the very first time you were there?
You go through one door, it slams, you can't open up the door. You know, you have to put your hands on the wall, they pat you down, and then you come through another Sally Port door, that slams, and then guess what? Now it's time to strip search. Everything that you're wearing comes off. You have to do a cavity search. You have to lift up both of your legs and your feet.
Do the whole cough thing.
Yes.
But what was going like mentally? What was going through your head? Like, were you like scared? Like, what was like running through your head?
Was scared about what was going to happen, how long I was going to, I mean, I didn't know at that point how long I was going to be there, but you know, when I would be able to get out.
And how fast did the fear become part of your life, would you say?
I would say pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly?
Yes.
Like right away, almost, I guess. Yeah, I would say like probably walking in, you know, you got your cot or your bed stuff, and you're seeing all these inmates just staring at you. Probably that for me, that's when it would probably kick in. Like, this is surreal. You know what I mean? Walking through that door.
And all the inmates, you know, stare you down, check you out.
Yeah.
Then they start their interrogation process where they start interrogating. Who are you? Why are you here?
Well, I want to know about this. Okay, so you said you got bullied a lot constantly, right? What did that do to your mind? Like, what did that do to your mindset?
Feeling like I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not sufficient.
Did that make you want to like get to the point where, and I hate to say this, but like unalive, did you get to that point in there? Like, was it
about
serious?
Suicide a couple of times, yes.
Yeah.
Is a selfish act.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I've talked about this before, and I've attempted in 2015 when my kid's mom ran away with my daughter for 3 months, right? I couldn't find my daughter. I was depressed, you know, and it was hard. And I understand the feeling, you know, I've been there. I understand it, you know, and at that point in my life, I didn't want to live, but I didn't want to die, you know, because I was so depressed, couldn't find my daughter. You know, and that was the only I tried everything almost, you know. I just didn't have the money at the time to get a private investigator to try to find her, and I ended up trying to take my life and woke up 2 days later in a coma, and then ended up moving to Powell River at my dad's ranch. He had 7 horses, he had 6, and then one of them had a baby, so he got lucky and got an extra horse out of it. So I stayed up there for a couple months, and I found myself again, came back, fought for my daughter, found her, and now I have her, lives with me full time. But I understand that, you know, and I just want to say, like, I understand the mindset that people get in. You know, I was there, and it definitely is a selfish act because people don't understand the ripple effects that it affects, you know, not even just people, but generations after too. So if you are having these thoughts, I just want to put out that, you know, pound 88 or star 88, sorry, you guys can do. There's a Whoa, I'm train of thought. I don't usually do podcasts this early in the morning. But yeah, so, and you know, just reach out, shoot me an email, reach out, whatever you guys need. You know, I'm here to help. I just want to put that out if you're struggling out there.
Email me, bullybehindbars at gmail.com. Reach out to me. I'm happy to talk. But the suicide rate among men in this country is 1 in 5. And then if Alaska, among the Aborigines, it's 5 times as higher.
Really? I didn't even know that.
It is. It's significantly high. And a lot of the reason is because Alaska's very dark.
Yeah. Like, you mean like just like the sky itself, you mean?
Yes.
So you get the depression and stuff like that coming.
I don't, you know, look, Eric, being in a prison that's dark all the time is deeply depressing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for those people who have the sunlight, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Isolate yourself in your house all day.
Well, and two is like if you're in prison, especially if you're in isolation, you don't get to see people.
No.
You know, you don't get to see people. And as humans, you know, we want to be able to talk. Like we're pack animals at the same. You know what I mean? We're pack animals. So yeah, can't imagine, man. It sucks, dude. I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. I understand you made bad mistakes, you know, and you know, you play with fire, you get burned, but at the same time, you know, you own that up and I appreciate you and that's a very honorable thing to do. You know, a lot of people I know a lot of people that are just these, you know, pointing their fingers the other way and stuff like that, right? So very honorable, definitely. How did the gangs single you out? Because you did say that.
The gangs, in order to get initiated into the gang, you have to commit a violent act. And there were
Okay.
several people that were looking to get into the gang.
Okay, so then they targeted you for those violent acts.
Yes.
Man. So what is it? Just like fighting, or were they doing like coming up to you, hitting you like that? You mean, or like to that point, really, to get in the gang?
Correct.
Wow, that's crazy. And this is
That would be one. And then two would be that they probably are never getting out, and males need sex. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
inherent.
Well, those what is those flupas or whatever they're called? Those they only do so much, I guess. You know, the flupas, or is that what it's called? Yeah, it's a flupa or something. It's called. They it's like a homemade jail toy. Let's just say that. Yeah. How did you survive something like that? You know, in a place of like weakness and punishment. Like, how did you like? Yeah, like mentally. Like, how did you just like put it away? Like, how did you like? Yeah.
For the being, and then used my journal entries to
Open the
release
box. Yeah.
your frustration that was going in my head.
And after you released that, you felt a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because again, holding something hostage is allowing something to live rent free in your head.
Well, what does it feel like to be um denied mental health care when you're clearly breaking?
Like it should have never happened. That's
And
the corrupt judicial system in America. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but in America, more people are locked up than almost every other country. Louisiana is the #1 state that locks people up. However, even though they lock a lot of people up, they haven't seen a reduction in crime. So we've learned that locking people up in a cell, now, and there are some instances where it needs to be done in violent acts, but it's the be all and end all of the solution.
yes, it's true. It's true. I mean, in Canada here, like I don't really know the jails. I couldn't really tell you, to be honest with you, right? Like I couldn't. I haven't been. I've been to juvie when I was 17 years old, but I mean that was a long time ago, and that's juvie, right? But yeah, I couldn't tell you what it would be like here. Hopefully the system, I mean, hopefully for, you know, because at the end of the day, you have a lot of people, there is bad people, but bad people that make wrong decisions. You know what I mean? I mean, good people that make bad decisions doesn't mean they're bad people, you know? So I hope that, you know, the system at least treats some people fairly. Like from your what happened to you, I think that's fucking wrong, you know? No matter what, you're still a human being. Just because you're locked up behind bars, that doesn't mean that you're not a human being. Depending on your I mean, if you're going around raping children and all that, I think that's the end of that. You know what I mean? But on a
No, people should be thrown in the Everglades.
Everglades?
Mhm.
What's the Everglades?
It's a huge lake where a lot of alligators live in Florida.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree with you then. Yes, definitely. Do you have anything that still haunts you today from going on? Like any like did you end up getting like any PTSD or anything like that?
I have some PTSD, but through my men's work and really being vulnerable with a bunch of guys on a weekend, it's really allowed me to release a lot of that tension. And
Tell tell me about that, the men's work and stuff like that. Like if you can talk about that, tell me like is it a men's group or
yeah, I've been a part of about 10 different men's groups.
nice.
The carpet work is really the guts of the work, where a man opens up, allows other men to play different roles in his life, and really start unpacking where he was, where he is now, and trying to lead a better life. But if a man's not willing to be vulnerable and share, it's going to be a waste of time.
And these are on Zoom or in person?
These are in person.
In person, okay.
A weekend with a bunch of guys without your cell phone, without having very little control over what happens next, not knowing the schedule. It all, the people who do the best at the weekend are the men that follow instructions, do what they're told to do, and allow the weekend to happen as it will. Not guys who want to try to
control,
assert their opinion, want to yell and scream if they don't get their way. Those are the men that have the hardest time.
And this is for a weekend?
Yes.
Nice. Hey, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Let viewers know, just to just maybe someone be interested in men's group that are out there. Yeah.
Bullied Behind Bars at gmail.com. I can absolutely fill you in on more information. We don't reveal exactly what happens because otherwise,
definitely,
can know what the expectations are. The whole point of going to a men's weekend is to not know exactly what's going to happen. Being okay with being in silence. A lot of men struggle with that. They want to talk and talk and talk, and silence is really where you are able to reflect on what's going on. You bring a journal, you journal what's going on, and it's really a life skill that you're supposed to bring to the outside world. If you just go to a weekend and do the work and then go back to the way you were living before, then it's a complete and utter waste of time. It's the men that want to take charge and change some aspect of their life.
So it's a retreat, almost like a weekend retreat.
Yes.
And is it in like a hotels you guys stay, or is it cabins, or?
It's definitely not at a hotel. You're in a bunkhouse with a bunch of guys. It is not a hotel room. This is not a vacation. This is a lot of work. It's intense, and it takes the right type of guy to come to the weekend. It really takes a man that wants to surrender, that wants to listen, that wants to change, and hopefully wants to serve other men in the future.
So do you felicitate these two, or do you just join in, or you just go?
I could, but I'd have to have a special training. This is very powerful and very, it needs to be done a certain way. So we all, I would say this. It's just like if you're going to work for a company, there's a manual or a handbook to doing this. There's a manual and a handbook of how to facilitate a weekend, and without the manual or handbook, you can't do it. It's a certain way of doing things, and it's not how everybody has to do it the same way. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah, because it's the program. It's a program, and if you veer off, then you're not doing the program.
Correct. Right. It's all serving other people and helping other people. It's not trying to insert my opinion on how I think things should be done.
Yeah. Well, you gotta, like you said, you gotta surrender, pretty much, right? You gotta surrender. If you want to fix yourself, man, you're at that point. You have to, you have to be able to fix yourself. You have to reach out for help. It's can't do it on your own.
A man has to say, I want to change my life. My life has become unmanageable.
Yes, I agree. And you know what? If you guys are listening out there, again, email me, email Matt. I'll get a hold of Matt even for the men's help. Like we're out here. The help's there. Just you need to reach out, take the first step, and then people like Matt and myself will guide you and send you in the right direction that you need to go. I want to say, what did writing the book cost you emotionally?
It cost me some friends. It strained some family dynamics. However, I refuse to concede to anybody else, and I want to share my story about where I got to where I came from, how I got to where I'm at, and help other people, because I don't want to have it go through what I went through.
Yeah, good for you, man. Well, that kind of what did you get back would be my next question from that. What did it give you back?
My life, my freedom, my ability to stop holding people that have wronged me in my life hostage.
Give you that power.
Yes.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Do you still feel judged for who you are now?
We will always be judged. What other people think of me is none of my business.
Fair enough. I like that. I fucking like that. I like that, man. Good for you. It's true. I mean, who cares? Like, see, I try to teach my daughter, I don't care what people think of me. I really don't care. They're not coming to my birthday party. If I cared, you'd be coming to my birthday party. And I try to teach my daughter that all the time. She's still a young girl, right? She's still growing up, but it's true, man. Who cares what people, if they're not in your circle and they're not here to bring you up, who gives a shit? And who cares what people say about you? At the end of the day, who cares? That's their opinion. They're allowed to have it. Everybody's got an ass and opinion, you know, at the end of the day. So good for you, man. What does healing look like for you today?
Healing looks like talking about what's going on with me, being able to identify the 6 emotions: scared, angry, sad, happy, excited. I don't like the T for tender. I substitute it for loving.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 emotions. When I have guys check in and say that they're all 6 emotions all at once, I know that they have absolutely no idea what's going on in their head, because there's no way you can be 6 vastly different emotions all at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, well,
Able to identify how you're feeling right now in this situation.
yeah.
Let me tell you, I've been in a lot of men's groups, as I mentioned earlier. A lot of people mask. People wear masks and they'll say, I'm great. Well, what's the context behind that? That's the more important question. What's the context behind being great? When you're able to start digging away, you realize that they're not exactly how they checked in, but they use that as a defense mechanism. Because if I say I'm great, nobody's going to ask me questions. If I say I'm miserable, people are going to ask me a lot of questions.
Question. Well, there's like that. There was a video going around on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and all that. And it was a guy and he says, you ever ask a man if he's all right? And that man tells you he's all right. Well, that man's not all right. He's battling demons in his head that you can't think of, And it's true, man. It is true. I've done it. I've done it many times, People say, are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm good. But yeah, been battling. It's true. We need to open up. We need to be able to be like, no, it sucks right now and I need help. Like, we need to make that the new norm, because as a child, you know, and I was born in '84. I was raised bottle it up, suck it up, depression. Oh, just get over it, get over it. But at the end of the day, man, all that just you push it down, push it down, push it down. It's gonna explode.
Absolutely.
And
That's how
yeah,
hate and anger happen.
yeah,
Right? Those are all secondary emotions because the first emotion is not dealt with properly.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is too, is that's what men are known for, is they're known for either being very angry. That's what we're known for, right? The emotions, angry or funny, pretty much, Those are the 2 main emotions that we're known for, but mostly anger, So we need to get away from that stigma of anger, is because we were taught, bury it, bury it, bury it, and then we explode. Eventually you explode either on some poor person or yourself or a family member, and all that hatred, all that anger, all that whatever you're putting down now is just pretty much you threw it up on this poor person in front of you that doesn't deserve all this stuff, and it's sickening to me, because that's what we're known for, is anger, and that's what we've been taught, growing up. And we need to change this whole dialect. I can't speak right. You know what I'm trying to say? Yes, but we're trying to change that, right? So it's a hard journey, but you know what I have to say, since been doing this podcast for about 2 years now, I've seen a big change, not a big, huge change, but I've seen things, like different things are growing, like men in the court system. I have 2 buddies now that have gone to court and now have custody of their kids, and it used to be going to the mother's side all the time, it was like that. And those are starting to flip now, not saying that every man should have their kid, because there is pieces of shit out there, and vice versa for women too. This is not just a one-sided thing, but it's a big change that I think slowly it's coming. but we got to get away from the suicide. That's the number one thing. And I was having a conversation with last guest is, like whatever we're doing now, it's not working. We have to change something, with the whole men's mental health stuff. It really isn't. Like, how many years, centuries have they been trying to do this, talk, blah, blah, blah. There's got to be a different way. And I'm trying to figure this out. It's like, it's insane because we're just throwing the same things at it, hoping for a different result every single time, but we need to start changing some different things here, definitely. And it's people like you, like your book, right? Being through your stories and stuff like that, that people get to read real life stories of other people. This is why I have my podcast. People get to come onto the show and show, their real life stories, their real struggles and triumphs that they've been through, and show people that they're not alone, and we all are human beings, and we need to come together and help each other at the end of the day. So I just want to say thank you for not for what you went through, but for coming out on top and writing this book and helping others and going to these men's group and helping all these men and the retreats. I think what you're doing is great, man. So I just wanted to say thank you. Can I ask you, what does healing look like to you today, to this date now?
Forgiving people that have wronged me in the past, helping other people, and sharing my story. Because I can't expect other people to open up if I'm not willing to open up myself. It's no glory.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I do, like, for people that are listening, I always do a pre-interview, and I like to open up in the pre-interview to show I'm vulnerable, and my story. I gave you a little bit about me, and how mine's with my fiance and stuff like that. And that's how I like to show you. And what I think, in men's group, tell me if I'm wrong, but I like to bring myself down to the people's level. You have to bring yourself down to that eye level and show them that you're not up here, you're not down here, you're the same as this person, and it's a safe space for them. And I think that's what you're just commenting on right now, and I agree with you. That's the best thing to do. It shows love and vulnerability and a safe space. Because if you can be in a safe space and tell these things to this person, the man or whoever in your group, then they're going to be able to relax and be able to tell you the same thing because, you opened up and is sharing, right? That's
no question.
That's the best thing about it.
No, I mean, it's really important at a men's weekend is the staff is going to share about them, not as much as the participants, but I want the participants to know a little bit about me too. And so a lot of times when a participant says, well, what's your name? We're supposed to say staff. But I say, well, my name is Matt, because I make sure that person will feel comfortable if they are struggling or have a difficulty during the weekend, that they can come and talk to a real person, not somebody named staff.
Yeah. Yeah. And they know your name, and you have that bond. It's a bond, right? Like,
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want them to feel comfortable sharing. A lot of guys to a men's weekend, they may not have shared with their spouse, with their family, anything that they're going through. This is the first time, first experience they've had about sharing about vulnerably with a bunch of guys. And it scares some of them. Yeah. And when I first did it, it was a little bit odd to me as well. I came from a family, we don't talk about our emotions. We stuff it. It's very stoic. My entire family is very, very stoic.
I know all about that. Like I said, my dad used to tell me, suck it up, be a man, and yeah, so I know all about that. But I mean, for these, like you said, if you call yourself staff, the guy's not going to come up to you after and be like, hey staff, let me tell you this, hey staff, right? You want to be Matt, hey Matt, right? You have that bond, right? So yeah, I just want to say that. Who is this book really for, by the way? I forgot to ask you that.
Who's the book for? It's for
really for
who has a son or daughter that's in prison, anybody who is engaging in small crimes, hasn't gotten caught, it will accelerate. It happened with me. It didn't just start with stealing a car. It was petty thefts before that led up to
multiple things going into that.
I want to see criminal justice reform.
Say that again, sorry.
Says they want to see that, but the reality is very few people will actually want to do what needs to happen.
Well, a lot of people too, like criminals will go, like not criminal, but people will go into the jail and become really good because they learn from other criminals and stuff. So a lot of times, a lot of people go into jail and then come out a better criminal, I guess you could say, right? And a
Yes.
lot of people don't use the program how it should be. What do you think that's a fault as well of the staff there not doing their job properly, or do you think it's just the whole system and the system's fucked?
It's the human mind. If a human comes in and wants to try to see how they can profit or make money coming out, then they're not
Yeah.
really
Well, let's
rehabilitated.
say money is the root of all evil at the end of the day, right? You know what I mean? So we're getting close to the end. If someone's listening to this right now, what part of the book would you say would be the best for them to like? What would you like that would really hit them the hardest? You know, like what part of the book do you think you suggest that has the most um knowledge for something like this? Like the whole book, or is there one section that you would like? You know, yeah.
You can't, just like the Bible, you can't cherry pick a Bible verse
Okay.
without using the content and context of where it was written, who it was written to, the time, who is the author. You can't just pick a certain piece out of my book and say, oh, I'm going to stick with that, but everything else doesn't apply. You have to read the.
No. I mean, like, is there one section in your book that's really like your favorite that's gonna really hit? You think that people should really like focus on? Is what I'm saying. Like, not just
I would
yeah,
healing process, being able
yeah.
to forgive the people who had wronged me. I'm sure
Okay.
all of your viewers can relate. We've all had people that have wronged us in the
Oh,
past.
definitely.
How are we dealing with that today? Are we allowing them to live rent free in our head, or have we allowed forgiveness? Forgiveness is very different from forgetting. Okay. I haven't,
Mm.
but I have to forgive everybody who's wronged me. You know, Jesus came as a perfect person to the world, and he was beaten, mocked at, laughed at. If Jesus could do it, I surely could do it. And God doesn't give me anything that I can't handle. I can handle everything that God puts in front of me. Otherwise, God wouldn't put it in front of me.
You know, I hate that saying because I'm tired of everything getting put in front of me. You know what I mean? It like I find that I carry more weight than I should some days, if that makes sense to you. You know, I feel like some days, yeah, like I was saying before, like Christmas, what happened to me. By the way, Merry Christmas. Sorry, I had a really crappy Christmas, literally crappy Christmas as we spoke before. But you know what I mean? It's like things like that, and I know it's not God or anything like that, but I'm just tired. You know, I want some normalcy, but then I guess life would be boring. I guess on that sense, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I don't know. It would be nice to have some like flatline for a little bit, not meow meow. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. It's life. It gives you, I guess, it gives you character. I guess you could say, right? Gives you character. Well, anyways, I want you to plug all your stuff one more time, please, brother, if you can.
Bullied Behind Bars.com is my website. Bullied Behind Bars is my handle on Instagram. Bars Bullied on X. Facebook, Matthew.Melvin.5621. My book is available on Amazon. Bullied Behind Bars, a gay Christian Trump supporter goes to prison. And you can also email me, bulliedbehindbars@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a speaking engagement or you're looking for somebody to come to talk to your group, feel free to email me. I'd love to talk to you.
And I just want to say too, questions on men's group like that too. People can reach out to you as well on
Yes.
men's group. So, and don't be afraid. I mean, reach out. You know, it's about taking that first step. You know, and some men in these groups, you know, they're on the edge. You know, and so you're not alone. Like there's people out there that are there that need this, and if you need this, join in on them. You know, because as men, we need to come together. We need to support each other. You know, it's really sad where men have our feelings and everything where it is now in this world. You bury it, like we were talking before, bury it, suck it up, depressed, get over it. No, it's really sad. We really need to break that stigma and show that our only that our only emotion isn't just anger, but it's love, happiness, crying, being there, all of that. So I just want to let you guys know that. Anyways, thank you, Matt. Again, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate, you coming in here, sharing with your book, and everybody, once again, if you can see on the screen, that's the website. All the info will be in the bio as well. So please reach out. And then Matt, if you want, I will put your email if you're okay with that, if you want people to reach out.
I want to hear from everybody.
Perfect. Okay, so his email also will be in the bio. So reach out and change your life. This guy did. Now it's time for you to do it. Anyways, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate you coming on to Raw Minds, and you're welcome to come back any other time if you write another book, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next weekend, and Happy New Year's.